Today's episode of The Completionist is brought to you by ExpressVPN. Now, we are lucky to have ExpressVPN sponsor us once again. They've been a great supporter of The Completionist this year, and with your guys' support in helping them to help us, it has been a fantastic and fruitful partnership. So thank you again to ExpressVPN. Now, for those of you guys who do not know, ExpressVPN is a great app that allows you to surf the web safely and privately through your own VPN services. Now, I use it specifically for what I call the streaming wars. There are a lot of different platforms out there in your phones via apps or websites and services that allow you to watch and stream content from films, television shows, anime, all that crazy kind of stuff. And you all watch a lot of it. I watch a lot of it. So using ExpressVPN, you can actually get around some of those that are blocked, and you can watch and enjoy the content wherever you are in the world. The app is available on Android and iOS. You can use it on all different kinds of devices, and it's got 24-hour support in case things are not working out for you. You can just call someone up and bada bing, bada boom, things get taken care of. ExpressVPN is one of the top rated services out there, and they have the fastest speed, so you can connect to anything with the click of a button. So if you want to sign up today, head over to expressvpn.com/complete to find out how you can get your first 3 months for free, or click the link in the box down below just to make it that much easier. Again, that's expressvpn.com/complete. Once again, thank you to ExpressVPN for sponsoring today's video, and enjoy the show. There's a line you cross that you don't ever come back from. A point of no return. I've played more big open world games back to back this year than I ever have in my entire life. And it has been eye-opening to say the least. Every open world game does something different, but only one game does it with synthesizers, helicopters, and all-around panache. Ever since completing GTA 3, I have been chasing that high that came with it. Luckily, its successor, GTA Vice City, takes everything that's great about GTA 3 and amps it up to 11 with better characters, incredible atmosphere, and improved gameplay. Vice City sets an incredible mood and tone by celebrating its inspirations better than any other game that tries something similar. In fact, it's so packed full of atmosphere and detail, the best way to experience it is to do it as a completionist. Strap on your roller skates, folks, and throw on your shiniest swimsuit while I complete Grand Theft Auto Vice City right here on The Completionist, where we don't just beat the games, we complete them. Completing games, especially big open world games like this, can feel like work. Sometimes I feel like I want a vacation. But games like Grand Theft Auto Vice City do double duty. They're a great challenge, but still feel incredibly fun to play. Like, try to navigate through Miami Beach without a stranger offering you some cocaine. And trust me, you don't want the cocaine. Bad for you.
Here comes a new challenger!
Yeah!
Danger!
Grand Theft Auto Vice City leans into tropes and style to make it the most distinctive GTA game. GTA 3 may have been the gasoline that soaked the gaming world in 2001, but 2002's Vice City is the spark that made the series blow up with style and substance. Vice City takes cliches and concepts that have been done before and refreshes them because of its full-on commitment to its 80s aesthetic. This game felt ultra familiar to me since I completed GTA 3 earlier this year, but it never felt boring. I explored the sun-drenched beach town of Vice City from a third-person perspective, doing crimes and advancing the story via well-acted cutscenes. And of course, I stole hundreds of cars. It's a lot of the same stuff as GTA, but with a heavy dose of neon-colored flair. You'd think I'd get bored of playing as yet another criminal in a seedy world of organized crime, but Vice City is almost never boring, mostly because of the great characters and setting. Main character Tommy Vercetti, voiced by frickin' Ray Liotta, freshly released from prison after serving 15 years for murder, goes back to working for his old boss in the titular Vice City as a cocaine dealer. However, he's ambushed during a drug deal and narrowly escapes with his life. He vows revenge and sets off to find his attackers to become the true kingpin of Vice City. If If you're thinking this game looks a heck of a lot like GTA 3, you're not wrong. There's a reason that Vice City looks and feels similar to its predecessor. According to Rockstar producer Leslie Benzies, the concept of Vice City came into being while workshopping ideas to add into a mission pack for GTA 3. I think it's awesome there was enough stuff on the cutting room floor here to create an entire game. This also explains how Vice City seems a little more condensed space-wise, but overall, I love Vice City's richly textured feel. Criminal underworld? Check. Violent yet completely understandable motivations? Check again. A world where buying up enough property and earning enough money can solve most problems? Check times a million. GTA Vice City may not be the most original in terms of plot or gameplay, but it doesn't need to be. Even though it's a prequel, this game is a natural evolution for the franchise and doesn't feel dated by any means. At first, it seemed like to complete Vice City, I had to do everything I did in GTA 3, just in a new setting. And to some extent, that's true, but Vice City also brings plenty more to the table. There's a main plot to make it through and dozens of side missions. There are the usual vigilante, paramedic, and taxi missions, and the 100 hidden packages to collect. Vice City also brings pizza deliveries and street races. The biggest addition to the franchise are the assets to manage, which must be bought with thousands of dollars. Not sure why every open world game I've played lately wants me to be a real estate mogul, but I'm not mad about it. And that's just the in-game stuff. Because I played it on the PS4, there were over 30 trophies added, making completion even more daunting. People talk about Vice City being overall smaller than GTA 3, but it is still absolutely jam-packed with things to do. And weirdly though, I never got tired of it. That's the main takeaway for me. I thought I'd feel completely fatigued and over open world games, much less open world crime sagas set in the 80s. You would think that I've colored with every particular crayon in that box, but GTA Vice City kept me energized and motivated all the way through. Big games like this are intimidating in their scope and feel, and if you're trying to complete them, you can shut down right away once you realize what all there is to do. But this game keeps things fresh. Grand Theft Auto Vice City's all-in commitment to the 80s style is the most successful pastiche I've ever played. It uses its setting and pulpy tone to celebrate style, and creates a near-perfect playable homage to the media that inspired it. Many times, when video games go for a specific mood or style, it's in service to satire, as if to say, oh man, remember this thing? That was super crazy. Even really fun games like Far Cry Blood Dragon mostly use the 80s as an aesthetic overlay. Few video games attempt actual pastiche, much less succeed at it. Vice City is a celebration of almost every over-the-top 80s movie and TV show, most notably Scarface, and obviously, Miami Vice. This game is not content to make a couple of passing references to other media and call it an evening. Oh no, Vice City made me feel like I was sweating it out in Miami myself. I loved feeling like I was playing the protagonist in an 80s action drama. The atmosphere is seriously off the charts in this game. Rockstar licensed so many incredible 80s tracks that traveling anywhere always have the dramatic yet so over-the-top feel that the best 80s music provides. Stealing a car and hearing Ozzy Osbourne or Twisted Sister on the radio freaking rocked, and I never grew tired of it. Emotion 98.3 and the Wave 103 are easily my favorite stations to listen to. The visuals themselves are a celebration of the 80s era too. I found Liberty City in GTA 3 to be immersive yet plain. In contrast, Vice City bursts with color and vibrancy, and the world drew me in even more because of the great relationships between these characters. I actually liked that GTA 3 had a silent protagonist. It let me focus on the gameplay, and it showed how Rockstar was fully committed to developing this open world structure that lets players do almost anything they set their minds to. But in Vice City, the developers swung in the opposite direction and let me inhabit a character. Tommy has attitude and charisma. He backtalks to cops and threatens who he needs to. I loved his personality and how it totally fit into the seedy yet gorgeous world of this Miami knockoff. The setting perfectly influences the gameplay. One of the most significant things I had to do to complete this game was buy up assets, like the Boatyard or the Malibu Club, so I could basically own the town by the end of the game. These assets are woven into the story, and many have characters that give you missions to complete tied into the location. After purchasing an asset, the place would basically turn into a safe house where I could save or pick up a new vehicle and regroup. It felt great to see my influence grow with each purchase, like I was slowly tightening my grip on the town throughout my time with the game. This game's themes are all about building and maintaining a criminal empire, and buying up these assets reinforce that. These assets even started providing me with money, turning a profit and helping put points to my overall criminal rating. The more money I earned, the more points would go up towards my rating, and the more I could bribe police officers to lower my wanted levels and buy up everything else I needed. I loved that this game showed me a ton of different sides of Vice City. I saw the beach, the nightlife, and of course, the seedy underbelly and back alleyways where bloody deeds took place. But at every turn, it felt like Rockstar used the amount of variety to push themselves to the limit. I was impressed by how Vice City really has an identity of its own and has a distinct feel. The street racing side missions do a great job of showing the different sides of the city. After I purchased the Sunshine Autos asset, I gained access to several different street racing missions. I really enjoyed seeing the different sides of the city, from Escobar International Airport to Little Haiti. It felt like a chance to get a little tour of each area, even though I was blazing through them to win money. It still feels in line with the rest of the game's tone. Characters in Vice City further built out this tone. This game goes over the top in a good way with the cast. Gangsters and pushers are all inspired by classic crime movies and cop shows, and the voice talent is stacked. Like, I definitely loved throwing my cash around to build my empire, but even I got intimidated taking on characters voiced by Burt Reynolds, Luis Guzman, and Danny Trejo. These heavy hitters continue Rockstar's tradition of bringing in actors who have a ton of experience playing vicey characters, and it feels awesome. I think that's maybe my favorite part about Vice City. Everything about its design feels a little excessive, but it fits right in with the tone of pulpy 80s crime drama. Every gameplay choice is in service to that. Even stuff like pizza delivery missions have a point. In Vice City, they're basically tutorials for how to do a drive-by shooting. Yes, it's extreme, but it doesn't feel try-hardy at all. The longer I played Vice City and expanded my criminal empire, the more conflicted I felt, because there's a ton of amazing work that most people who play this game won't see. In my opinion, Grand Theft Auto's greatest strength and biggest weakness is that some of the best details won't be seen and savored unless you play this game as a completionist. I'd say the sound design in general is a great example of this. Developers at Rockstar have always done an incredible job with the radio in GTA games. Because I spent so much time driving around and exploring the area, I've heard probably every song on the game's amazing soundtrack. I even noticed how certain cars were more likely to have specific stations on when I stole them. It really felt like the developers put time into thinking about what each individual person was listening to before I carjacked them. I probably would not have noticed and appreciated these small details if I hadn't put as much time into the game as I did. The talk radio stations and hosts are just as hilarious, if not even more so, than they are in GTA 3. But there's also an air of poignancy rippling through that I was completely not expecting. Radio hosts beg for money because they're afraid of not being on the air for much longer. This ties into the feeling of everyone wanting and needing more money and power just to survive in this world. Again, I don't think I necessarily would have noticed some of these themes if I didn't put so many dozens of hours into the game. Vice City on some level made me confront the fact that as long as I, as Tommy, kept taking a bigger piece of the pie, there was going to be less and less for everyone else around me. And yeah, I know these are all digital avatars and not real people, but I still felt the pang of sadness at how my total domination of Vice City meant squeezing out everyone else. Aside from these existentially depressing talk radio hosts, the billboards are yet another great example of something that might not be noticed by anyone but the most detail-oriented. Rockstar games have a reputation for humor, and Vice City continues that tradition set in GTA 3 of having advertisements with a little something extra going on. To be clear, you don't get anything tangible for taking in the atmosphere and appreciating the small stuff, but I was impacted by seeing the love put into these overall insignificant details. The main hideouts found throughout Vice City were something I grew to appreciate the more I played. Any hideout or safe house was welcome, but the Vercetti Estate and Hyman Condo in particular stood out to me as being great for completionists. The little addition of having a super fast car spawning out front of the estate instead of a garage ended up being a huge time saver, something I was incredibly grateful for. The Hyman Condo is similarly awesome, as it has a flippin' helicopter on the roof, and this decked out safe house is available pretty early on in the game, which was a great surprise. As a completionist, little touches like access to fast cars without a lot of extra effort was awesome. There are a number of helicopter missions in this game, yet another example of Vice City taking the series further than it had ever gone up to that point. I had to fly in one of these for hours on end, and I honestly started to idly contemplate my own existence. I'm not trying to get too heavy here, folks. What I came away with was that even though I spent a ton of in-game time in these copters, it was still fun to do. It made me feel like I was a little kid, picking up a toy chopper and making propeller noises with my mouth. I know that's a weird connection, but it flashed into my head as I was playing, and I don't think that thought would have crossed my mind if I wasn't focused on meticulously doing every little thing. Of course, there's always something that's a killjoy in a game like this. I was all set to say I highly recommend doing everything in this game because it's gorgeous and sounds great if you're into synth pop, new wave, and hair metal. But there are a few achievements that take all that cool atmosphere and poignancy that I'd been feeling and just muck it all up, taking this game from incredible to another long completion slog. I thought this would be a simple GTA to complete, with no BS. But then the completion gods decided to punish me. For like 90% of playing this game, I'd say it improves on GTA 3. There are more movement options, like being able to dive out of cars and steal and ride motorcycles. But on the flip side, there are boats, which are hilariously awful to control. The boat-related missions from the shipyard asset were incredibly hard to finish, just because of how difficult it is to control the dang boats. Not quite a deal breaker here, but frustrating nonetheless. The thing that really started to mess with my head was the Take the Cannoli trophy. This trophy asked that I earn the criminal ranking of Godfather, which required me to earn over 1 million points doing various criminal activities throughout the game. Stuff like destroying helicopters or planes, or earning a certain amount of money overall. Seemingly, every little thing would earn me criminal points and allow me to rank up. On the flip side, I could also lose points by dying, getting busted by the cops, or being inaccurate with my weapons, among other things. This started off fun, but over time just chipped away at me until I was a shell of a man. I had to grind for money. Billions of dollars. Even after doing the entire story, I only had $1 million. I needed a lot more than that. Shut up, my math isn't strong. So I built up my assets and started grinding away. Then technical problems started settling in. I lost hours of progress and probably $30 billion because the game froze on me at least 3 times as I set out to earn everything I could. I eventually figured out how to stop the crashes, but the fear of it happening again stayed with me the whole time. This whole process really made me feel like a sucker because up until the final trophy, I was extremely on board with Vice City and everything it had asked me to do. The side missions in Vice City are incredibly fun and for some reason much more manageable than in GTA 3. The hidden packages weren't too tough, the story was incredibly engaging, everything was pointing towards a relatively painless completion process. But this trophy, I don't think anyone was meant to grind this much. And if they weren't expected to face technical issues along the way that padded my playtime by over 15 hours. It was really disheartening and disappointing. I had some issues getting the final couple trophies for GTA Vice City, but the way this game rewards players for in-game completion is really wonderful. The more I knocked out tasks within the game, the more toys and tools the game gave me to play with, which made the sunny sandbox even more fun to screw around in. Vice City originally came out on the PS2, which, shocker, didn't have trophy systems, so the game kept track of your progress with an in-game completion menu. This keeps track of everything. How many people I wasted, how much money I earned, and for every significant milestone, I earned something good. I mentioned how buying up assets allowed me to use those places as save points. Well, the very first safe house in the game gets more and more decorated as you do more stuff. It's cosmetic, but I kind of liked getting a visual reminder of how much I was accomplishing as I found more hidden packages and did other side missions. There's even a hilariously on-the-nose outfit I can unlock that's just jeans and a white t-shirt that reads, "I completed Vice City and all I got was this lousy t-shirt," which honestly, I loved it. Give it to me to wear in real life, I'm down. 100% in-game completion earned me maximum stats, 200 armor and 200 health. I also earned unlimited ammo for all my weapons and even increased the rate of fire, which made the rocket launcher my new favorite tool to shoot down helicopters with. It might seem unhelpful or not useful, but I loved being able to screw around with as many powerful, fast-firing rockets as I wanted. The GTA series has always been a sandbox at its heart, and Vice City is too. The in-game completion rewards almost seem designed to help me earn the trophies that were added to the PS4 version, and that's not a bad thing. When I completed GTA Vice City, there were 95 deaths, mostly from crashing boats into the sea and drowning, 34 trophies earned, including the ridiculous Take the Cannoli, which almost seemed cruel in its requirements, 81 hours played, and about 3 which were lost due to crashes or freezes, and 1 decade that will never go out of style in the TOBG office, as neon lights, linen suits, and epic mustaches become the new normal around here. You all heard me! I never in a million years would have thought that I would have completed 3 Rockstar games in 1 year. But I'm glad I did these 3 almost back to back to back. Vice City is a natural next step after GTA 3, and up until trying to get that last trophy, I was having a blast. The music is great, a real high point, and the world nails the feel and style of what it's going for. But earning over 1 million criminal points practically broke me with the soul-crushing grind it required. Still, it's a fantastic game and a real lesson into how to go all in with style. So, with that in mind, guys, I give this game my completionist rating of finish it.
Finish it!
That's all the time we have for today, guys, so please, as always, let me know what you thought about today's episode somewhere on the internet. If you like the show, guess what? We do videos Wednesdays and Saturdays. You want to check them out, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell for all notifications, and let me know what you want to see here on the future of the show in the comments down below. Guys, I've enjoyed The Completionist, and it's time for a vacation, hopefully, to Miami.